Assalamu alaikum and welcome everyone. I'm Hussein Osman, author of the book Mahathir, The Art of Political Leadership. In this short video, I will be introducing and sharing some interesting facts about the topics discussed in my book. This book is the result of my thorough study since the last 7 years on the leadership experience of the longest serving Prime Minister of Malaysia, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. I am strongly determined to make this book useful and beneficial for those who want to learn about leadership in the most practical way. In this case, the application of Mahathir's problem-based leadership approach, a unique approach applied during his long period of leadership journey for over 60 years from 1958 to 2020. The discussion in this book is focusing on the political leadership of Mahathir, but does not represent or promote any particular political parties. I intend to share my observation on the art of Mahathir's political leadership so that others may learn something from it. This book is about a medical doctor who dreams of becoming a leader so that he can get things done. The medical school, however, never taught him how to influence and lead the people. Therefore, to become a leader, he will need to learn leadership skills on his own. His journey to learn and lead began in 1958. After a year, he learned that leadership is all but a position. Becoming a leader is not about looking for a position, but serving the people and taking care of their well-being. In 1964, he was selected to contest in the general election and won. It was a great joy for him since that proved his leadership credibility had reached a certain level of maturity. During the first parliamentary sitting, he discovered that looking for a leadership position was not that bad. Being a minister, you will be treated differently. It gave him a great impression. He said, "I thought what an achievement it would be to become a minister." For a while, he got distracted from his leadership journey. He thought, maybe in leadership, looking for the position is equally important as serving the people. Not long after that, he had learned a lesson in a hard way. He lost his seat in the 1969 general election. The defeat is a wake-up call that changed his perspective about learning the leadership. There are a lot more to learn than to earn. He stepped back and reflected upon his defeat. He discovered something was wrong about the country and the people. The social contract was almost forgotten. The Chinese were asking for more and the Malays were left far behind. His defeat and the May 13 racial riots are nothing more than the symptoms of a disease. The result of his problem-based analysis pointed towards Tunku Abdul Rahman's leadership. He criticized the Tunku and ended up with his expulsion from UMNO, the ruling party. At one point, he thought that his dream of becoming a leader is going to vanish in the thin air. After more than 2 years left in the political wilderness, he learned that the expulsion is indeed a blessing in disguise. It enabled him to reflect and understand that leadership is not about fighting for a position, instead to fight for the great cause of the people. He took the people's problem as the base for his leadership learning and learned through. In 1972, he was not only readmitted to the party, but also claimed a good leadership position in the Supreme Council. Soon after, he climbed the leadership ladder to become a minister, then a deputy prime minister, and ended up as the fourth prime minister of Malaysia in 1981. His retirement in 2003 did not stop him from leading the people towards their great cause. In 2016, he returned to politics to save the country from becoming a failed state. He led the People's Movement and won the 14th general election in May 2018. Once again, he became the Prime Minister of Malaysia. It was an almost impossible job for a 92-year-old retired politician to accomplish. How does he do it? What is so special about the leadership skills that enable him to turn the impossible into possible? The discussion in this book indicates that the problem-based leadership learning approach is the trade secret applied since the early days of his political career. This book therefore offers a new perspective on Dr. Mahathir's leadership based on problem-based learning or PBL approach. The analysis covers over 60 years of his leadership experience from 1958 to 2020. I have arranged this book into 10 chapters. It begins with the exploration of Mahathir's unique achievement in the 14th general election and ended at his resignation as the 7th Prime Minister on February 24, 2020. Chapter 1 explains about the background of a unique Mahathir's achievement in the 14th general election. Against all odds, he managed to combine the opposition political force and the people's great cause to save the country from a kleptocratic leader. The secret of the achievement is the problem-based leadership approach that he constantly applied. Three main resources were identified as contain the evidence of this leadership trade secret. They are the Malay Dilemma, A Doctor in the House, and Check That Weblog. Chapter 2 discusses the importance of having problems as the basis for leadership learning, as Mahathir had been ceaselessly practicing. Some general features of problem-based learning, or PBL, as practiced by experts in the field were discussed. Chapter 3 enlightens the readers on the unique learning process of problem-based learning, problem-based leadership learning, and the process is naturally a lifelong learning endeavor, independent and self-directed. Chapter 4 explores the first learning trigger of Mahathir's problem-based leadership learning. While facing his election defeat and poor Alliance Party performance, the country was shocked with the May 13, 1969 racial riots. Based on his analysis, these two events are correlated, but he knew that they are only the symptoms of the more serious problem. His final analysis pointed towards the poor leadership of Tunku Abdul Rahman Putra as the Prime Minister. He criticized the Tunku and ended up with his expulsion from UMNO, the ruling party. Chapter 5 brings forward the problem scenario related to the event of Mahathir's expulsion from UMNO in 1969 and his efforts to regain his leadership position in the party. This problem enabled him to learn through leadership experience in a harder way. Chapter 6 highlights Mahathir's experience of climbing the leadership ladder to become the Deputy Prime Minister. The selected problem trigger is related to the crucial moment of Tun Hussein Onn deciding on his new Deputy Prime Minister. Chapter 7 provides readers with the hindsight of the challenges of becoming a leader at the top. Mahathir managed to rule the country for over 22 years. People assumed that he had everything within his control. The selected problem trigger, however, pointed towards numerous challenges he had to face to stay at the top. Chapter 8 reveals new information about Mahathir's post-retirement leadership since 2003. Once again, he was leading the people without any proper leadership position, before finally appointed as the leader of opposition parties in 2017. His leadership learning is focusing on two selected problem triggers. One is on Abdullah Badawi's leadership and the other on Najib Razak's leadership. Chapter 9 utilizes the discussion in Chapter 8 to conclude Mahathir's leadership learning experience. Two most distinctive characteristics of Mahathir's leadership learning in challenging Abdullah and Najib's leadership pointed towards the problem-based learning or PBL and project organized problem-based learning or POPBL. Finally, Chapter 10 presents an in-depth discussion of Mahathir's leadership while leading Pakatan Harapan government between May 2018 and March 2020. The problem scenario selected for the learning simulation is based on his speech after resigning as the 7th Prime Minister. The most important part of this chapter is a comprehensive discussion of precursor event called Sheraton Move that led to his resignation and the collapse of Pakatan Harapan government on February 24, 2020. In the nutshell, this book is a bit technical, especially when it comes to the diagnostic approach applied in each problem scenario presented in chapters 4 to 10. However, it's surely worth of learning experience for those highly interested in learning new things about a unique leadership approach. Readers will also be able to explore the reflective parts of each leadership problem scenario and appreciate some essential leadership skills that could be learned further. I will be sharing the content of this book on this YouTube channel from time to time, and this could be something more interesting way for readers to get into the leadership lesson discussed in this book. To buy this book, please click the link in the description below. Till then, thank you and have a great day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.